It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch to goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide, nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time, and these are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. Sorry about that. We're still having a few little technical glitches and issues at the moment, but hopefully everyone's smart enough to jump out and jump back into YouTube, and they'll be able to come in and join us. So I am gonna go straight back into the question that we were going to answer for Joshua Vela. So I'll pull that screen up, and I'm just going to, whilst we do that, I'm just going to put a little message into school just to say we need to reload YouTube. So I'll just drop a little message in, reload YouTube to connect to live call. We crashed. Close YouTube and reload to watch the live. I'll just drop this in for everyone to see. So that's good. So we've got a few people jumping back in. So we'll get back in, and I'm sure people will hop back in once they see the message on the screen. I will very, very quickly just jump in to the screen control again. Okay, so question we got from Josh Vela was, what is the best way to defend in a 2v1 situation? So I'm going to do a little bit of a whiteboard on this one, and I'm going to give you a little bit of advice and help. And this is a common thing. This happens quite a lot in games, especially if you are a central defender, a centre-back. You will sometimes, unfortunately, get caught on counter-attacks, especially if you're pushing in a game to try and get a winning goal or to try and get an equaliser. This is going to happen from time to time. So it's really great question, and it's a poignant one to give me a chance to answer this one. So hopefully you guys will be seeing my screen any second now. And I'll just double check that we are live on YouTube as well, so everyone's joining in. Brilliant. So what we're going to do is going to have a little look at this one, and we'll start off with a 2v1 situation. So we'll imagine that as a team we're attacking in this direction. We've got our goalkeeper, we'll have our defender, and we'll have the attacking player 1, and we'll have the attacking player 2. Now, this is a really, really tricky one, and I'm going to make this as simple as possible, okay? So when we are defending in a 2 versus 1, okay, this is going to be the best way to attack it, so to speak. So there's a couple of things we need to think about. Now, attacker 1 and attacker 2 are going to make the pitch as big and as wide as possible. They're also going to try and take every touch forward, and they're going to try and move with speed. So, if we're thinking about these things from the attacker's point of view, and what have we got to do to combat them when we're in a 2 versus 1 situation, are we going to be able to stop them from going big and wide? Well, you might be able to if you're able to force them to one direction. But the problem is we need to ascertain what is the biggest thing, what's the quickest thing, what's the first thing that we need to stop and we need to prioritize. So for me as a coach and working in the game for 25 plus years, for me, if we can slow them down, that means we're winning slightly. And that would be the first priority. So priority number 1 would be the movement and the speed that they move. I would then say forward direction is priority 2 and big and wide is priority 3. Okay? So I'm already seeing comments coming in and people are already putting it. Okay? Delay. Deny. And restrict. Now, when we're in a 2 versus 1, this can still happen. But how you delay a team from attacking you, okay, would be by keeping the distance between you and them as best as you can. And what we're looking to aim to do is keep them in this triangle shape. And if we can keep it in this shape, we've got a great chance of slowing them down. Now, what we don't want to do is if this particular player, attacker 1's got the ball, we don't want to go and engage over there, because then that means we know all they're going to do, they will just feed that ball into space for the attacker 2 to come and get. So what we need to do is we need to keep the distance between us and attacker 1 and 2 the same. So this distance, and this distance, we want to try and keep it the same. So what we do is we try and slow them up by going as slow as we can as we move backwards. Now, as we're moving backwards, we've got our back to our goal. Well, at no point do we have our chest towards our goal. We don't want to be side on, because if you're side on, you're only looking after one attacker. This is where practicing, and I'll give you one of the latest fads that's coming around at the moment into A-League teams and into the MLS in America. They're starting to do this jogging on the running machine backwards. We've been doing that for 20 years in the Premier League, because one of the things that we discovered, if you want to be really good at jockeying backwards, you need to practice with your body moving backwards and stepping backwards and jogging backwards. So one of my ideas would be, when we talk about our week and we look at 70% football and 30% non-football, in this non-football area, I would be spending 40 to 60 minutes a week on the running machine at a slow pace, make sure you're nice and safe, and just walking backwards on the running machine. And it's a great way of building up your muscles, your muscle memory, and your body gets used to moving in that direction. So that is a great way of working this out. Now what we want to do is, we want to try and basically affect their move speed. Now what we'll do is, if we keep the distances the same here, and here, and here, it's going to start to make them question themselves, okay? Now, if this particular player starts to make a bit of a move here, okay, and starts to move, then all we would do is, if this guy stays relatively, say they've moved to there, that player's moved to there, my idea here would be, we now position ourselves there. So we've got that line of sight there, we've got that line of sight there, and we've got that distance there, and the distances are always the same. Now in the event this player makes that pass to that player there, we've got a great chance of cutting that player off on that angle there. Now whilst all this is going on, whilst you're delaying them, denying them and restricting them, we've focused on one thing, and all we've focused on is their movement speed coming towards us. We just want to slow it down by a second or two. If we do that, all of a sudden, we get a defender that comes in and another defender that comes in, and then all of a sudden, we've now turned it into a 3 versus 2. So I want you to focus on one thing when you're in this situation. Focus on trying to kill their movement and speed towards you by delaying, denying, restricting, and we want to keep them the same distances apart. Now you need to make sure when we look at this, and I'll put all this back in for us and we'll go back from scratch just to give you another final piece of information. So if these guys or defenders or attackers, whoever they are coming towards you, if we want to get rid of them and move them out, what we need to be thinking about is quite simple. If we're there as a defender and we've got the attacker there and an attacker there, we just need to make sure these distances again are relatively the same. So when you look at this guy, if he's starting to come over this way, okay, then the best thing we can do to get the same distances in this triangle, and this is the art of defending, we basically just need to drop a little bit more into there. And when we drop into there, we are then going to create that same distance of angle again, and the triangle's there always. So remember, delay, deny, restrict, and slow them down as best as you can. That was a fantastic question from Josh. Hopefully you guys got something from that. And it's just going over again that delay, deny, restrict. Okay, next question. What are some strategies to help a positive mindset before a game? Well, we've sort of covered this a little bit again with Ross's question, and it all goes back to the football mental strength training. So there's a lot of strategies in there, Marlon, for you to follow. But what I will do is I'll give you guys a couple of ideas that you can think about, and those ideas are going to be really sort of helpful for you on the different ways you could think about how you're going to achieve this. So what I'll do is I'll connect up to the whiteboards again, and we'll have a little think about some of the things for positive mindset before the game, and I'll just give you a couple of reminders to think about what are some of the strategies. So I think the number one strategy for a positive mindset, so if we're thinking about positive before the game, and if anyone knows the answers, feel free to drop them in the comments, guys. The first one I would be thinking about is making sure you're following processes and not outcomes. And if you're wondering what the differences are with processes and outcomes and you don't know what they are, go to the classroom on school and go to the football mental strength training course. Okay, and that's going to give it to you in a nutshell. The second thing will be then is, how can I remember to focus on processes when I'm in the game? So we spoke about this before. You can use strategies. You could use a marker pen, and on your left hand and your right hand, you can use trigger words or letters. So a trigger word or letter could be the letter R, and that's put on marker pen on your wrist, and it might be to remind you that when you or a teammate loses the ball, is to recover behind the ball as quickly and as effectively as you can to give your team a numerical advantage. One of your triggers on your left wrist might be the letter S, and that's a reminder for scanning. So on the third one is to make sure you are focused on your objective at hand. Okay, and what that means is your current objective. This way, when you're focused on processes over outcomes and you're only focused on one big thing and you're going to stick to remembering one big thing, like your objective, and it might be scanning, okay? Then I would recommend you put the letter S on one hand, the letter R on the other hand, and they're two simple letters that can get you in a positive mindset. And then what you can start to do is, when you start looking at processes, you might have mum, dad, or maybe you get access to your games and you get the recording later on. Watch your game back and go, okay, how many times in the game, okay, when we lost the ball, did I recover and not recover? And you can actually just sit there in the game and just watch it and go, okay, yeah, I recovered. No, I didn't recover. Yeah, recovered. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Did. No, I didn't. Did. Okay, it's going well. Oh, I didn't. And then what you might find is you might get to the end of the game and you might go, okay, so I've got 14 times where I recovered and there was 6 times where I didn't recover. Then what you can do is you can work that out as a percentage. And then once you work that percentage out, then you can just record that percentage. So it's quite simple. So then that way, when you're thinking about how you can improve it, you can then sit there and go, okay, well, you know, maybe roughly for about 54% was my strike rate on recovery runs, okay? So straight away, I'm going, okay, well, it's a starting point. It's not bad, but it's not good. But at least it's a starting point. So then what you can do is you can then focus next time you go into a game, you can go, okay, I want to beat 54%. Now in your next game, you might just get 56%. But that's a positive and that's a good thing. And you're recognising that you're getting better. And when you focus on just one or two things in your games, what you'll find is subconsciously your body will just do everything else for you. And I think for me, the two biggest things that you can do is before a game, going back to the question, is having it crystal clear in your head that I'm going to focus on one objective, and that is scanning. And that's my objective based off my match analysis that I've had done. And what is an absolute given, it doesn't matter what objective you're working on, every single player needs to make sure, apart from the goalkeeper, that you recover behind the ball as soon as you or a teammate loses it. And you can keep it super simple. And you can even just put a piece of tape around your wrist, and the tape around your wrist goes on, and you just put the letters on permanent marker, S and R. And you know, S stands for scanning and R stands for recovery runs. So again, a great question, guys. If you love that answer, drop it in the comments in YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a little comment. Even if you didn't like it and you didn't think it was any good and you thought it was a load of baloney, put it in the comments, guys. Feedback is invaluable, okay? So what we're going to do is very quickly, I'm just going to drop back into the live screen here. So we've still got a little bit to go. We've still got about 15 minutes to go because we did start a little bit late today and we did lose you for a moment there, but it looks like we're all back and good. We are going to go to a very quick break just for 1 minute. When I come back, I'm going to drop back into school, see if there's any more questions in there, and I'm conscious that there might be 1 or 2 questions in YouTube, and we'll try our best to get through all of them for you before we disappear for the night. So enjoy this little ad break, guys, and we'll be back in 1 minute.
You don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goats grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. They stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time, and these are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjust.
Everyone, welcome back. So we'll get straight back into it. We'll go back across to my screen over here, and we'll see if we can just pull up any other questions. How much of midfield intelligence is instinct versus learning through experience? So, Khaleesi, that's a really easy one for me to answer. I'm a big believer of talent is completely made and it's not born. And when we're talking about things like intelligence is actually built up by learning through experience. So you build it up. It's dead simple. There's no way a midfielder is born with intelligence or game intelligence. I'm telling you now, there's no way, because it's disrespectful to players. Let's think of world-class players. So your Ronaldos, your Messis, your Mohamed Salahs. You think of all these players, your Haalands at Man City. It's disrespectful to think that a lot of it's just they're born with it and it's just intelligence they've inherited, or they've just been given an instinct through the dad's DNA. That's disrespectful to how much learning they have to go through and how much development they go through. So great question, and hopefully that one answers that one. What have we got on here? Whoa, 2,066 activities. Well, I thought I was pretty good because this morning, Khaleesi, I actually got 1,500 activities for yesterday. I think it was 1,500 anyway, but that's a record. So, Khaleesi, good news is we set a challenge yesterday, and we said if you guys could beat 1,351 activities in a 24-hour period, we would give you a Premier League ball. So, Khaleesi, drop me a DM in the next 24 hours. I am waiting for the Premier League balls to arrive, so I've been told that about 10 to 14 days away. But you've got one of the 5 Premier League balls. So a big, big congratulations to Khaleesi, and a super effort, Khaleesi, on getting that many activities in a day. That is redonkulous. Well done. Absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back out of here, and before we do, I'm going to say well done. DM me for the ball. Awesome. Now, if you're watching this back and it's a recording, and if it's still January 2026, then you've got a chance you can win yourself a Premier League ball. All you need to do is do 1,351 activities or more. If you want to know how to do that, all you need to do is, if you look at your little profile here and go profile, you'll see all of your activities. So today I'm on 487. Yesterday I done 1,301 actually. And I think actually the challenge, I think I've got it wrong. I think it might have been 1,151, but I'll double check it. But it doesn't matter because Khaleesi has killed it. How do we get that many activities? How do we even get them? So quite simple. If you go into a post, if you see a post and it's not liked, hit the thumbs up. That's 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. So you're literally picking up points just for liking posts. Now where it gets really interesting, as I said in the past, if you do a reply on any of the posts, you get triple points and you get quadruple points. Also, if you post in the community, you will get points as well. So if you drop anything in there, you'll be able to get points as well. And there is a post in there, guys. If you have a search for it, you'll be able to find it. So I'm going to get back to my live screen, which is here. And I'm going to very quickly put you on to me. And we're just going to have a little look, see what other questions that we've got inside our YouTube comments. And we'll give our best shot to see if we can get through 1 or 2 more questions before we finish. Now, obviously, because tonight's call did cut off, I'm going to try and do some magic, and I'll try and piece the call together into one call. But if we're not able to do that, you'll notice in the weekly calls, you'll notice there'll be 2 calls for today. So we'll have an A and a B, or a 1 and a 2. Just remember, it'll be split into like 20 minutes and 40 minutes or something along them lines. So I'll have a little look, and let's see if we've got any questions in here. How much of midfield intelligence? We've just answered that one, so that was a great question from Khaleesi. Cut off the passing line to the attacker 2 and turn a defensive situation to a 1v1. Yeah, so that's a great point. That was back to that question that we asked before. Now, we don't have any other questions on the comments on YouTube. So what I will do is, very quickly, I will jump back into this screen here, and I'm going to just walk us through a little bit of what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. So we've made a decision, guys, on a Thursday. The call's been made that what we're going to do is, to get the best out of the, where are we? Football mental strength training number 7. We are going to do live teaching lessons every Thursday for 30 minutes of the call. So the first 30 minutes of the call, we will get straight into football mental strength training. Now, you might have already started this course, and you might be halfway through. You might have completed it in its entirety. But what you're going to do is, over the next 16 weeks, we're going to split it up into 16 30-minute sessions. Then what we'll do is, once we've recorded them all on the live calls, we'll then be able to copy them and actually drop them into the community here as well. So we'll actually have a video included in between, so then that way it will walk people through, and it's a more interactive mental strength training course, because not everyone likes to sit there and just do it on the screen themselves. But just to give you an idea, what will happen is we'll look at mental toughness, and it'll come up on the screen very similar to this. We'll get it up nice and big, and we'll actually walk you through mental toughness. So we'll speak about task 1, what's in your control on the football pitch. Number B, what's not in your control on the football pitch. And it's going to be really super interactive. Now, if you join us on the weekly calls and you're given some of the best answers, we're going to have prizes to give away, okay, and gifts to give away. If you attend every single mental strength training course over the next 16 weeks, as we split it into 16 mini sections, okay, I am going to give you an extra special big prize as well, okay? And we've actually reached out to our friends at the Premier League. And as you know, we did get some Premier League balls, but we've also got some other special gifts coming from the Premier League. So on the Thursday call, guys, what we will do is that first 20 to 30 minutes will be taking us through our football mental strength training, and then we'll record them, cut them up, and add them back into school. And it's going to give you and everyone else a chance, when you want to go through it again, you can either read the slide and work through it yourself, or you can watch the interactive video, which is going to give you more help and more support as you work your way through it. So super excited to take you through that. Anyone who hasn't been on the football mental strength training, as you know, and as you can see, there is lots and lots and lots of slides on here. And the good thing is, once we record this and we get through it all, it's going to be an absolute game changer. It's going to make this part of the classroom an absolute game-changing piece of education and I'm really looking forward to this one, dealing with parents. This is going to be a great one when we cover it. So for all the mums and dads who are online, we're going to be picking on you guys at one point on one of the sections as well. So big thank you for that one. Now, I'm going to drop back in again. I will come back into YouTube. We've still got about 5 or 6 minutes to go. So guys, if you've got any questions, please drop them in. And remember, tomorrow is Thursday. So tomorrow will be the first day of doing a 20 to 30 minute bite-sized football mental strength training online learning classroom with me. The benefit of this, guys, you're going to get it live and you're going to get to be part of it. And then once you've been through it with me, it'll be there recorded for you to watch back, and you can work your way through. And I've told everyone, my biggest piece of advice on this platform if you were to ask me what's one of the most important tools, I would 100% say in the classroom and the football mental strength. If you are mentally strong, you can achieve anything in football or in life, but also you can deal with any setbacks. Now, we were speaking a little bit about this tonight when we're talking about processes versus outcomes and making sure before you walk on the pitch, you're actually geared up and ready to go to be dealing with processes and focusing on processes and not focusing on outcomes. And this is the big benefit of the football mental strength training. It's actually recognizing that this is the most important part of your game. And if you get that correct, then you'll be flying. You'll be winning in everything. If you get your mental strength right, everything else will flow easily. If you are not mentally strong and you are weak and you get upset really easy and you're too focused on outcomes and you're not recognizing your processes, because if you're not recognizing how to record your processes, like we just showed you before, you can record your recovery runs because that's a process similar to the way you do with your match objectives and your football objectives. Once you've got a percentage, you then know that's something that you can work towards to improve. But if you don't have a percentage and you don't have any data, how do you know if you're actually getting better? And what we discovered was, to finish off in the Premier League, we discovered about 15, 16 years ago that players were beating themselves up because they just assumed subjectively that they weren't that good and they were screwing up. But also, we actually discovered some players who thought they were really, really good and better than what they actually were. And that's a problem as well, because if you think you are the superstar player and then you get to your first proper environment, and what I mean by a proper environment, I'm talking no disrespect to Australia or the USA, but if say you've been playing in Australia and then you get an opportunity to go and play in the UK at a top academy or in Europe, it's an eye-opening experience once you're in a real environment, and all of a sudden the realization hits you, you're not that good and you're actually a million miles away. So there's a double edge to that sword, but the benefits of actually understanding the importance of focusing on the mental strength training side is so important. So hopefully, guys, you've enjoyed that little piece just to finish off on. I will have a very quick look just to see if there's any quick questions dropped in. There's nothing else in there. So guys, look, I will let you go. Apologies about the disruption tonight, but I'm now up and running. The technology is working really well. Hopefully, apart from getting disconnected, you've been seeing me, hearing me, and it's been crystal clear and fast for you today. Guys, drop it in the community. If you didn't notice any difference, if you thought it was worse or better, let me know, because we will look to fine tune it. But we are definitely in a higher platform now, and we're being told the speeds and the refresh rates are better. So hopefully you guys experience that, especially in the latter half of the call. So a big thank you for joining us, and I look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow. We're going to be back Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. And remember, the first 20 to 30 minutes, we're going to be doing lesson 1, football mental strength training with me, Raymond Wood, and we're going to get you guys part of it. So I need you to input, I need you to drop in answers, I need you to ask me questions, and we want to make it as interactive as possible. I am going to be doing an attendance register. So every Thursday, I'm going to be making a note of everyone who joined us online. And if you attend every week for the 16 weeks, there's going to be a prize for everyone to earn, and it's a mega prize from the Premier League. So a big thank you, guys. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you all tomorrow night.
Don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks